And then real quick, let's get to the main event. The Young Bucks package against SCU. The Young Bucks talk and they show the highlights. I could buy the Young Bucks if they were smarmy, smart aleck, chicken shit, mid-card heels, and they could get some heat for being little fucking pricks that do double team shit and, and then a grown baby face fucking puts them in their place. They might get over that way. But when they try to talk tough, it's fucking preposterous, is it not?
I think that they're really bad promos, and I know they connect with a lot of fans with what they do, but I think that they are not good on the mic. And they come across, I'll give them one good thing I'll say about this. Usually I think they come across quite pretentious, and it's a lot of like bad acting, bad comedy kind of stuff that they throw in there. At least there was none of that here, but even though they were shot at kind of from below to make them look bigger than they are, I don't.
Where did they find a 3'5" cameraman either?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the interview. I don't think they're good interviews.
Well, and here, the match isn't going to take long, and we'll come to the root of the problem. Bucks versus SCU. I like everybody in SCU. They're great athletes, but here, instead of bringing the Bucks up to their level because they can work, they go to the Bucks down to their level, and they started out all four guys doing a 27-phase high spot, and there they go. I did notice that referee Rick Knox looks like the heels from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What were they? The gentlemen, the bald-headed trench coat wearing fellows with the hollow eyes and the pale skin?
I don't know.
They never slowed down anything. There was no pace. They do moves back and forth to each other. Nothing has time to register. Everybody stands around waiting to catch people who dive at them. Sometimes people tag. Sometimes they just come in to help with a stunt. And then finally, SCU beats the Young Bucks with their finish. And the Bucks are the same as Kenny Omega. They have deluded themselves into thinking because they were in their little world that they're over. And so they're starting to try to get everybody else over by beating them. But the average person who never fucking heard of the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega before this television program, well, you know what? They don't really give a shit because they're not watching. Because nobody that's never heard of these people wants to watch this program. And therein lies the fucking rub. If you didn't already like all these people on this show, would this show have made you watch this show? Would this program, this series from the start, if you weren't already in love with the idea of all these people having their own wrestling promotion and you watch this show, would you watch it ever again?
No, what's kept me going since we started doing these reviews is Jericho and Cody, and whenever they actually have MJF on TV, but there's always a ton of stuff that I feel like I don't need to see, that I don't want to see. And when it comes to the dives, every match has dives. It's like if you're going to have Jungle Boy Jack Perry do his dives, maybe cool with everyone else doing it.
Don't anybody else do a dive.
Or, even
they can't have a match without doing that.
But even Scorpio Sky, who's really talented, he's really good. He did that flip dive. I don't know what they call it. I can't stand Excalibur anymore. Let me throw this in here right now. Because he does this.
You've come around to my side, eh?
Well, you know what it is? I don't care about the mask thing. At this point, I'm past that.
Yeah.
But it's the way he talks. It's like, and now he's going for a tope con hilo. Like, it's this weird cadence he has where everything comes out like this. It's the Young Bucks.
Because he is a mark, and I don't use the term mark for fans. I only use the term mark for marks. He is a mark playing wrestling announcer with his friends. Did you hear when he said that officially in the record books, Jericho and Jungle Boy had gone to I'm going to try to repeat it now. Instead of a 10-minute time limit draw, he actually said a minute time, Tim, and JR made fun of it. Go back and listen to it.
Although at this point, JR is just, if he's not checked out, he's just willing to say whatever he wants at any point. He's calling the butcher and the baker. He got their names confused. He called Jungle Boy Jack Perry at least 3 different names. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, Jungle Jack Perry, Jungle Boy Jack. I mean, it's such a funny show, but Excalibur's way of talking during just yelling out, oh, and there's I can't deal with it anymore. But my point was, Scorpio Sky, who's really, really talented, he does that flip dive. I don't know the exact name for it. I tuned out Excalibur at that point, or I would have known. But he did that on the two Bucks, the one who was ready for him and the other one who got his brother next to him to get ready for him.
Yeah.
And it looked really good. Problem was I saw the exact same dive by Kenny Omega an hour and 45 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
You know, I know these guys are all talented. They like to do all their things, but let one guy do it this week, and then another guy can do it next week. So it has a little more
that
impact.
wouldn't be inclusive, Brian.
Well,
that wouldn't be inclusive, where everybody wouldn't feel like they're loved and they belong. Anyway, here's the thing. The match is over. SCU wins. Here come the creepers, the masked, full-body outfit fucks that apparently come in all shapes and sizes. And apparently now we know that they don't even bother to put wrestlers under these fucking outfits. They surround the ring, and then the Dork Order themselves, the fat one and the fucking Grayson, the fat one's in a suit. They come out to the stage, and Fat Dork, we're going to call him Fat Dork, and the other one will be now Beard Dork. So Fat Dork does a stagey, rehearsed promo in a fake evil voice. And then the creepers swarm both SCU and the Bucks, because we didn't really know who the fucking baby faces were anyway. And they get horrible fucking heat on the baby faces. Then, now Kenny Omega has been beating his match, and you just said he got fucking dumped in the commercial break. Well, he hits the ring and is immediately shut down again. And by the way, now we know also Kenny Omega fights like a girl, not just like a 12-year-old girl, not even a 12-year-old professional wrestling girl, but like a 12-year-old girl at a goddamn grade school. He hits and his punches are shitty, and none of these fucking idiots know how to feed the baby faces coming in anyway, because when you do a staggered run in like this, okay, the heels have shut down the baby faces that were in the ring, and they've got them down, and they've got them on the far side of the ring so that there's some room. Here comes one baby face. He comes in, you feed one heel, boom, two heels, boom, three heels, boom. The baby face is shining. As he goes to hit the first one the second time, he turns his back, and the fourth one shuts him down. They didn't fucking feed anybody. They didn't time these or stage them right. They didn't stagger him right. Kenny Omega gets shut down because he's a fucking limp penis, probably in real life as well as in professional life. He fights like a girl, and then he gets shut down after he's been beat on the show, so fuck him. That's what people are thinking, with some star. Then here comes Cody and Dustin. And I thought Cody was the one smart enough to stay away from all this, but he probably had to do him a favor, and he didn't realize how bad it was going to be. Dustin hit with fire, but there was nobody feeding him, so he tries to go and get people. And then he's throwing punches, and they won't shut him down. Finally, I think he had to tell somebody, shut me fucking down. And then they left him alone later on, and he got up and he looked like Andre because he was a foot taller than all the rest of these people, and he's throwing punches again, and it took him a while to get him down because they don't know how to get heat. And I'm not talking about the emotion heat. I'm talking about they do not know how to perform getting violent physical heat on the baby faces in a fucking angle. To have the fucking sound and the motion, the fucking kicking the shit out of a guy in one corner while you're holding the other guy in the other corner up and you're mugging him with shots and they're ringing the bell and there's people getting up on the apron. I used to send people from the fucking concession stand if I didn't have enough. I'd send some guy up with a fucking Ring of Honor t-shirt just to get punched and go down to the floor just because it adds to the chaos. You've got to create these scenes. They don't just happen. This was fucking rotten. And then this Shut the Roses down. The crowd is standing there staring. The ones that aren't booing are staring. Staring and booing, booing and staring. And not booing like, oh, get up and kick their ass. Booing like, would you get this bullshit out of here? And then in the middle of it, one of the creepers gets on top of one of the baby faces and is just pretending, obviously, pretending to punch the guy when he's punching toward his head a foot away from it.
That was Dustin that he did that to.
Yeah, that he was doing it. Just pretending, obviously pretending, just swinging his fist, and you can see it. It's not like he's trying to hide anything. And then I know the fat dork gets 2 masks and gives them to the other 2 guys that look like small children, Silver and Reynolds.
Well, see, you missed they were doing these really bad packages. You may remember I mentioned to you that were very professionally looking.
Yes, I saw all but last week's. Yes.
Yeah, and those
recruitment.
Those were the guys who no one had any idea who the fuck they were. All of a sudden, there were these promo packages, and I guess they were recruited, and I guess these cameramen are on the payroll as well. That make these professional packages.
Well, anyway, finally, Fat Dork stands over Matt Jackson, who looks like he is prematurely either bit a blood thing or maybe his fucking tongue's just red. I don't know, but Fat Guy stuck his hand in Matt's mouth and like he was trying to pull his tongue out. And then my DVR cut off. But it was something that didn't work, right? Was he trying to rip his tongue out and there was going to be a blood deal? Was he sticking something down his throat like they stuck this fucking TV show down our throats? What was even going? Could you even tell what was happening there?
No idea. Wasn't explained. There's lots of things not explained on this show. That's how they went off the air. I mean, your DVR probably went off 10 to 15 seconds before the actual show went off.
Well, so anyway, I remember a couple weeks ago, I think I said April 15th, TNT will be tired of this nonsense. 3 more of these shows and they'll fucking kick them off right then.
I don't know if you've noticed, but one of the interesting things is we've been talking about this show with our honest feelings about things. And of course, your amazing expertise about these things. A lot of people focus on the negative. A lot of people.
Thank you, Brian Butterup.
Well, you're very welcome, Shoeshine Boy. But a lot of other people really have paid attention and have thought we've been fair, even though you certainly hate Kenny Omega, for example. But there have also been a lot of AEW fans just rushing to their defense and defending everything. You're not seeing that anymore. You're seeing a lot of their core audience saying, we don't want this shit. This is exactly why we don't like WWE. It shouldn't be guys who say, we hate WWE style wrestling because we're not the guys in those roles.
Yeah.
It should be, we don't like that because it's the opposite of what we think wrestling should be.
You're exactly right. The opposite of WWE sports entertainment is athletic-based wrestling, which is what the bill of goods that we were sold. Oh, and wait, there's more, folks. The show it went off the air on TV, but there was still something in the arena. We were told by the owner that it was going to be a sports-based presentation, and he owns a professional sports team, or his father does, so we were inclined to believe that. But then he goes into business, which is once again why that I have never had anything to do with All Elite Wrestling past the initial conversation, because I knew he was going to go in business with. The guys that more than anybody else in wrestling today have been responsible for teaching and telling and convincing the fans and themselves and their little circle jerk of friends that wrestling is supposed to be silly and fun and for everyone and look like a video game and be inclusive, and we can have the legless boy and JoJo the dog-faced man or whatever the fuck. And they don't know how to do this shit. And they don't know how to do shit that people care about, except for a fad audience of people who like silly young fucking children play fighting. And that's what their fans can't stand about it, because it's the truth. They don't know what they're doing, and that's what their mindset is. Silly children having play fights. No attempt to make people believe this. Killing the business. Kayfabe is dead, man. That's what the problem is. Now they've been handed this, and it shows that they don't know what they're doing. They can't do it. And to do it, they would have to admit that they were wrong all along, and they got over as a fluke because they just started doing shit that nobody else was ever allowed to do for good reason. And they found a fucking mark that's going to let them do it and pay for it. And they've got all their friends' jobs. And this is their example of wrestling. Every time there's a pinfall 1, 2, 3, instead of a fucking bell ringing, it ought to be that noise it makes when your video game quarter drops. That ought to be the end of every match.
You know, it's funny because when AEW was first being conceived, one of the things you heard a lot of people talk about was the success of the t-shirts, of them getting these t-shirts into Hot Topic and how that...
The T-shirts that had none of their names or pictures on them?
Well, funny you bring that up. 2 quick anecdotes I think you get a kick out of. One, I know someone who recently went to the mall. The Kenny Omega shirts were on clearance. Secondly, I forget who wrote this in, and I forget if it was via email or Twitter, but someone got in touch recently. It may have been in a Mothership Facebook group. And they said they went to their wife's Christmas party, and they were wearing a Cornette face T-shirt. And there was someone there in a Bullet Club shirt. And they thought, oh boy, you know, we're about to have, I don't know who this guy is, but we're going to say something. And he went up to him, he started talking to him, and he goes, so you're a fan of the Young Bucks? And he goes, oh no, I saw this shirt. I like guns. So I got this shirt.
The shirt that sold was the Bullet Club. None of those people is named Bullet, and there was no picture or any wrestling on the shirt. It was the Bullet Club shirt is what got this fucking billionaire Mark to fucking finance these guys' grade school friends a wrestling promotion.
The guy liked guns, and he bought a Bullet Club shirt. I mean, that says a lot. But the Kenny Omega shirts being on clearance, I don't know what exactly that means, but I think it...
As soon as he got on national TV, they put the shirts on clearance. There you go.
At least at this one location, yes.